What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on the DC universe, and it's not looking very good. 3 projects in, 2 shows which neither have charted on Nielsen, a movie that didn't break even and wasn't really viewed outside of America. What is going on at DC? DC was very good at one point, and as much as people can say the Snyderverse didn't work, but the difference is the DCU projects up into 2017 when Zack left, they all made money. So there's a new report out suggesting when Warner Bros. Discoveries gets sold, and it's looking very likely either to Netflix or Paramount Skydance, that James Gunn could very well be out. There's a new report out says James Gunn out at DC with the sale of Warner Bros. So, yo, what is good, YouTube? What's your If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, and Monsterverse pop culture-based content that I try to deliver on a daily basis. Subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know down below. Do you think when they get bought out, they need another reboot? Because this DC universe, it isn't working. And everyone is starting to say it now with the fail of Peacemaker Season 2. But it got good reviews, yeah, but it didn't chart. The reviews are irrelevant if it's not charting, if people aren't watching it. More people watched The Arrow and Flash on CW, and they weren't deemed successful, but they had millions of people watching them, even up to some of the later seasons. Like the first few seasons, it was very highly viewed. But what is going on here? You've even got John Cena, who's a pretty big name, and it still is not charting. So the article says, with Superman reportedly bombing financially, it bombed financially because it had to hit 350. Obviously, we're doubling it because of how money works. It needed to hit close to 700. It looks like it's lost money. And with Peacemaker Season 2 flopping with fans, I reached out to my insiders about the state of the DCU under James Gunn. The short of it is James Gunn will be out as the head of DCU with the sale of Warner Bros. Discovery. I'm told that David from Skydance Paramount buys Warner Bros. Discovery, that Michael DeLuca will be in charge of DC and do a complete new start. Now, what is interesting here is even if this doesn't happen, what is pretty suspicious is James Gunn's contract is up pretty soon. They've renewed Michael DeLuca's contract recently. They haven't renewed James Gunn. Now, if DC is thriving like they try to tell you via hit pieces, then why are we getting hit pieces from Variety and other websites saying, oh, by the way, it's not going as good as it is? Because they should be renewing his contract. Gunn recently said he is doing whatever he wants at DC. That sounded odd to me, as if you're building a new universe, you would want to be successful with the fans. That's not happening, as both Creature Commandos and Peacemaker fail to chart on the Nielsen chart. Now, what is Nielsen chart? It takes in all different TV shows from Netflix to HBO Max to Apple TV, and it gives you the top 10. It goes further than that. But Peacemaker didn't even make the top 10. And we don't have shows like House of Dragons, Last of Us, that are critically acclaimed, but also get viewership airing at the moment. So I know what people are going to say. You're just a Snyder bro. No, the data does not lie. Peacemaker Season 2 is essentially the sequel to the Superman movie. Now, the reason it went on to streaming so fast was because you kind of had to watch Superman to understand Peacemaker. It is what was said. They don't have big audiences, and Gunn claims that Peacemaker Season 2 was meant to be a sequel to the Superman movie was pure BS. I mean, there's some similarities. Superman also failed to resonate with international fans. Its box office came in under Zack Snyder by a large margin. He means Man of Steel. For some reason, whenever people talk about how successful Superman is, they only talk about how well it did domestically. Now, I know American studios love the domestic numbers, but if you look at the international numbers, it's almost like people don't know who Superman is. Gunn's approach to the DCU has been all about diverse or divisive messaging. It's splitting the fan base, yes, and Peacemaker Season 2 has made people realize that James Gunn is really mid at writing. I'm of the opinion that Gunn is doing whatever he wants with the DC because his days are numbered and he knows it, so he's getting himself and all his friends and wife a big paycheck before Warner Bros. Discovery sells. It does seem a bit odd to me how they are rushing Superman 2 out, because you can say Man of Tomorrow is not a direct sequel, but it basically is a direct sequel. Yet the Batman 2, James Gunn said scripts take time, let Matt Reeves cook, but you're rushing a script out. This means when a sale goes through, James Gunn is out. So I reached out to my Hollywood insider. Here's what he told me. Recently saw the big news that Michael DeLuca and Pam Abney re-signed with Warner Bros. In a Deadline report. That basically said because of the sale of Warner Bros. Discoveries, David is looking to purchase Warner Bros. Discovery. So WB CEO David Zaslav is putting people in place that David wants. This means David wants DeLuca and Abdi in charge of Warner Bros. Film. It's very odd to me, and I've not seen anyone else that bring up this point that they haven't renewed James Gunn's contract, or if they have, it's not been made public knowledge. But usually insiders and scoopers come out with stuff like this. You notice that Gunn has pivoted from his plan of God and Monsters storyline into what he calls the Superman family saga. The Superman family is all Gunn. The God and Monsters storyline is likely ditched because Gunn knows he can only get a select amount of movies out before the sale. I've also been told that the reason why DCU projects have been stalling is because of Gunn's interference. The filmmakers want their own vision and not Gunn's. I mean, this does line up when Gunn comes out and says, yeah, Supergirl's a Garden in the Galaxy kind of movie. When he didn't write it, it's got nothing to do with him. I'm told that most of the visionary directors in Hollywood are staying away from not only DC, but Marvel and Star Wars because life is too short and everyone is looking for original properties. I'm told Zack Snyder is happy doing his original stuff, but only wants to return for a DC movie like the adaptation of The Dark Knight. So this is interesting because if you remember, James Gunn says that his universe wasn't going to be like the MCU, you go straight into multiverse storyline. It was going to be more like a Star Wars unit. It's not like either, really. I'm told that if Warner Bros. Gets sold, that whoever buys it wants a complete new start. Whilst it has been reported that Skydance is eyeing up to purchase Warner Bros. Discovery, I'm told Universal Comcast is still in the mix. I know they've been eyeing it for years. Also, there's a report the other day that we went over about Netflix wanting to buy it. What I'm told is David buys Warner Bros. Discovery is that James will be out. David's father, billionaire David, is close to Donald Trump. So Peacemaker isn't getting a season 3. Gunn lied about a family-friendly approach to DC. The Superman movie was, but Peacemaker wasn't. I'm told that actually nobody in the building knows his status except for Gunn himself, but his actions speak to what might happen. Again, it's obvious, and Gunn has said it himself, he's doing whatever he wants with DC. It's because with the sale, the DCU is dead. Will be dead. His DCU is dead. Back to David. I'm told Michael DeLuca will take over DC. Recall how my insiders told you about the real ending of The Flash, which is something Gunn completely changed. DeLuca wanted to bring Zack Snyder's DCU back, which would have been part led to the return of Henry Cavill Superman and the return of Ben Affleck Batman with a multiversal Batman happening. They all got scrapped when Gunn took over the DCU. I'm of the opinion that Gunn knew about the eventual sale of Warner Bros. Discovery, and Zaslav handed him over the reins and gave him the ability to do whatever he wants before the sale. They just want DC content out there to make the sale of Warner Bros. Look better. And I've said that for a while. Back to DeLuca in DC. I'm told he won't be bringing back the Snyderverse as everyone has moved on. He'll be starting a new universe, which is probably for the best, under David and Skydance. It's my guess we'll bring back Truth, Justice, and the American Way. We also know Gunn's history with the conservatives, which also likely explains Gunn's DCU agenda. He's getting it all out there before the sale. Michael DeLuca discovered David S. Gower, who's also known for Blade, Man of Steel, and of course Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Mike is also brought in Sinners, Weapons, oversees the Conjuring franchise, and also Minecraft. He knows cinema, history, global movement, and is a die-hard comic book fan, the insider said. So that's the end of the article, and I pretty much agree with what he said. Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi did a much better job than James Gunn has done. Sure, James Gunn isn't in charge of the whole of Warner Bros., but the 3 projects we've had so far, Superman made less money than Man of Steel back in 2013. I know people are going to say, oh, but it's the way the world's at the moment. People aren't spending money. Then you look at Demon Slayer. How is Demon Slayer, even though Demon Slayer, Mr. Tanjiro Kamado, Even though I love the Demon Slayer anime, it should not be making more money than Superman. Creature Commandos, no one watched, it didn't chart, no one cares. Even bringing Lex Luthor into Peacemaker Season 2 didn't make it chart on Nielsen. What is going on? I just want to talk about good DC projects again. And it doesn't look like we're going to get that till Matt Reeves cooks with his The Batman Part 2. It's like always, guys, this is subjective unless things doesn't happen, but it's looking very likely that Warner Bros. Will be sold. And if they are sold, it looks like James Gunn won't be around because the contract's not being renewed. Sure, it could be renewed soon. We don't know. But I might as well talk about this because it's out there and there's a lot of negative feedback about Peacemaker Season 2 and also about Superman now. People are rewatching it and realizing that, yeah, maybe it wasn't as good as what people thought, you know. That's why you should never watch something twice, because if you love it the first time, watch it the second time, usually it's never as good. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu, check us out on Twitter, Warstu J, and I'll get you in another guy's version. Catch you later.